evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul, where I'm your host, Michelle Bolden Hammond. And let me tell you something. We had so much of a spectacular time with my special guest here. Sandy Fields is back because a lot of you requested her with that special guided meditation that she done us for. So we know. And welcome back again, Sandy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you so
You're
much.
you're so welcome. I thought this would be perfect way to end out our April Stress Awareness Month because we know that this month is based upon
Mhm.
stress, techniques on how to handle your stress. Because let me say, I went to a workshop on Friday. Stress management, I used to hear a lot about it and it backed off, but now it's coming more popular back. They were saying in the workplace, people don't know how to cope anymore. And so I thought it was a better way for you to come on tonight and talk about, you know, techniques, things we can do,
Mhm.
and, the different realms of stress because people don't even really understand certain things about stress. And as I always say, stress can kill.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And so, we're not, no matter what we do, all of the tools, all the techniques, nobody is completely absolved of stress, right? It's going to show up because sometimes stress is the message that it's time for you to move on, right? When you find yourself being overly stressed, you need to evaluate the situation and find out what's happening within you because nobody grows on the corner of easy and convenient. Right. So sometimes you have to be uncomfortable and feel stressed to realize that it's time for you to move out of the space that you're in. So
Exactly.
we
Exactly.
have
I
stress
agree.
in levels of family, work, friendships, with just within ourselves, with past trauma. There's so many different layers and contributing factors to stress. I was felt stressed this morning. My son said, "Ma, you look stressed today." I am, son. He was like, "You need a hug?" Yes, if you'd like to give me one, right? Because I am the hugging healer. So we do that. We understand that when you give yourself a hug or you give somebody a hug or you're receiving a hug, that it can reduce your hormones that have you already on edge. And so I knew at that moment when it was recognizable for somebody else that I was stressed, meaning, and all it was I had a lot of things that needed to get done in a small amount of time, right? And so I needed to go down into my meditation room. I needed to cry it out. I needed to breathe. And then I needed to sit in the shower. I sit in the shower and let the water beat on me. And that is a calming effect for me that works like a lullaby for a baby. And so, just in this small snippet of a story that I'm sharing, were a few nuggets of being able to manage your stress. One, getting a hug or hugging yourself, right? If you don't have anybody to share a hug with. Two, allow yourself to cry it out if you need to, because that's a release. And three, spend some time in quiet, just breathing, right? Finding yourself back to center and getting grounded. And if you like me, you might need to take a shower and on the shower floor to be cleansed and renewed, or take a spiritual bath. So those are five things right there that are at the top of my stress relieving list.
So, and you know what, Sandy, one of the things I like about it, it doesn't cost you a thing.
Nope.
It doesn't cost, and I'm not saying that we might not need those massages. We might not, we might not need those other holistic properties that we can use for that. But just like you're saying, just sitting in a space, being quiet, get
Mm-hmm.
in tune with yourself. That does work. Setting a room, do you now, like you said, with fragrances, certain fragrances is calming. So could you tell the audience like some of the few that you might use, or what are your favorites?
So I love jasmine. It is, for me, it is. It just does something to me. Eling is a essential oil, a scent that boosts your mood. Lavender is calming, right? So it depends on where you are, depending on what you need, and everybody is different, right? So you might like something that I don't like. So I would encourage people to try out some of the basics like lavender, eling, jasmine, until you find the one that works for you. And sometimes there's a combination, right? Like a lot of essential oil companies might do a roll on, where they have a blend specifically for stress. And the biggest thing for me when it comes to stress is there's a difference between stress reduction and stress management.
Ooh.
So it's almost like coping. Stress management sounds like you're trying to manage the stress within you as opposed to just reducing the things that contribute to the stress so that you're not experiencing it so much or so as frequently or as intensely, right? I know that that means today, with all of the things that were on my plate, I couldn't delegate any of it. So I needed to really create more of a realistic timeline that would have reduced my stress, right? And so being able to sit in that space, calling on one of my spiritual sisters who poured into me to help me realize some things that I couldn't see because I was in my own head, having a support system to help you see things that you don't see, right? We get stressed out because we're trying to figure out life in our own head with a certain set of expectations with a lack of trust.
Mm. Mm.
With a certain set of expectations minus the trust. Because when we trust that everything is as it is meant to be, what do we have to worry about? What do we
Exactly.
have to worry about?
Exactly.
So it goes back to learning to do these things to help you reduce the stress, to maintain the levels within your body, to calm yourself so that you can get centered and remember to rely on the inner essence of God that resides within you to rebuild that trust, go back to that trust, be reminded of that trust because all is always going to be well.
You clarified some things too, because a lot of people think that it is difference between stress management and stress reduction. It is very different because the management is how you're going to use those tools. The reduction is coping once you get those tools. So I appreciate you for clarifying that with the audience tonight. And you said something that I love, like you said, the different fragrances.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I share lavender is one of mine, but I'm gonna tell you something else that I use as well. Ashwagandha. I always take that as a because that boosts the lavender calms, but it also
Mm-hmm.
boosts once you sit in that. I take the soaking with the Epsom sauce. I always tell people the Dr. Teals.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a lot of people who, and I've noticed that with Sharon is Dr. Teals, it's going up the roof just like everything else is. At one
Okay.
time, it used to be a little cheaper type, but Walmart has it. You might can find it at some of the discount stores, but that is calming as well. It's from the root. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's
Yes.
very, and it actually relaxes. And a lot of people don't know because most of the time, the magnesium that's from the Epsom salts that is used, that is actually to remove toxins. And
Mm-hmm.
some of the stressors also could be from foods,
Mm-hmm.
different things like that. So those toxins are being removed and you replenishing with those. So I greatly appreciate you for talking about those areas on stress reduction since this is Stress Awareness Month. So, listen, audience, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to be right back. But when we take this break, I'm going to show you some things that I am using, and even in my mama's healing sounds for you. But you do not want to miss because we have a special treat for those tonight. Whoever may catch this replay, I will tell you before we go on to this break, I will tell you you need to get in a quiet space because next my guest is going to come back and give us a little demonstration, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. Now you're going to have to come back and see what it is. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul, where I'm your host, Michelle Bolden Hammond. And listen, we are here with my special guest, Miss Sandi Fields, is right here with us, and I am excited to have her here with us tonight. And let me tell you, what you just saw there are some new techniques that I have a vibroacoustic chair made by the company In Harmony that we use for different vibrational sounds for promote relaxation, help with remedies with anxiety, all these different frequencies. We have the solfeggio frequencies, different frequencies to help with different adjectives or whatever going on with you. So I am here to help aid you as well with Mama's Healing Sounds for You because it is the sound that makes the difference. But also in the sound, there's a time for a quiet place. You know, one of the things I had went to this training on Friday, and one of the questions that the presenter asked, when was the last time that you dealt and sat in a quiet place? So I asked that question to the audience tonight. When have you taken the time to sit in a quiet place and just be still?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's not very often. If you have not incorporated such a time into your lifestyle and made it non-negotiable, most people are running on empty and experiencing stress at alarming rates because they're not taking that time. Because they're
Yeah.
not taking that time.
You know, Sandy, as us as being healers that we are, um, we always pouring out, right? For you, I know you said some techniques that you do,
Mm-hmm.
but like for me, do you, I know it's necessary for me to change the atmosphere, meaning I have to get away
Yeah.
in order for me to get replenished because again, we're such givers and we such always wanting to heal
Mm-hmm.
in the mechanism, even in our quiet place, someone can interrupt. And because, for instance, right
Yes.
before the show, you see, I had to put on pause, and somebody else's stress come
Yes.
in.
Yes.
So I have to get away because I have to leave from the atmosphere sometime in order to get what I need in order to be replenished. Do you feel that same way sometimes as well?
Oh, listen, I have a spot in the woods down the trail round yonder that there's no cars. You all you hear is the birds and you hear the stream of the water. I'll sit either on the footbridge or I'll take the hike up to the top where I can look down onto the stream and away from everybody except for me, the trees, the birds, the sun, the air, me and the four elements and anything else in nature that wants to be present. Absolutely. Absolutely. And when I come back from that space, it's like, okay, life. Let me get back to lifing. Absolutely. It is necessary to find your space. Absolutely necessary. And sometimes if I can't get to the forest, I go out my backyard to a tree. because it gives me that same feel. But absolutely being, I think when it says for me, changing environments really means being in nature for me, being outside
Mhm.
is
Mhm.
huge.
It's not for, like for me, it has to be water. Um, it has to be near water. For me,
Hmm.
uh, even if I have to go sit or just go to an area and just sit, it has to be near water for me. And I know that's probably because of my zodiac sign or whatever is the fish. But I'm thinking, well, I know that's a replenishing for me. That's a like a refreshing. Because
Hmm.
again, like I said, this exercise that I was at this training Friday, and this lady talked about one thing. Was a good topic that she talked about. She's actually somebody who have trauma, but she done created this composite of a healing garden with doing healing, showing, building these fresh vegetables, fresh fruits, and making it up. But she said it's a place healed, and they can come in there and cry, and it's like
Mm.
green place. Oh my God, when I talk, and what was so funny, she shared that she been composting for years. She done got many awards here. I'm actually gonna have invite Vicky on the show. She was phenomenal because I had just said, and isn't it funny too? God will give you what you need when you think.
Absolutely.
And I'm actually gonna be to this place this weekend coming. So she was sharing that, from on and on, her grandmother taught her how to compost and make food because she said during the pandemic, you would go to the stores, there wasn't nothing there, but she knew how to do this, to make food. She took the
Hmm.
two tomatoes. She said, two tomatoes, listen up. I'm hint. I'm gonna give her off some of her detail. Two organic fresh tomatoes, you put them up in whole and make up 20 plants. She said her family ate. And what she's created, and I was just saying to myself, because I know this is coming, food shortages, because we're talking about some of the food banks now are empty. And then we know most
Hmm.
of the time, we know they only can give you what they can give you. Most of that is processed, but if you gotta eat, you gotta eat.
Right.
So I was saying I would love to learn how to do the canning and stuff that I used to watch my aunts and grandmothers and them to do. And she was right there in the house.
Wow. Wow.
But
And and talk about stress reduction. What a release that is. How relaxing it is. Because being out in nature and touching that soil and that food and being able to release and connect to our roots is so, it's like renewing.
yes.
It
So
allows you to release and renew. Oh, that I can just feel the
yes.
beauty in that.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm like, I've been so, I mean, and I'm actually going there Saturday because I have to do a presentation for mind, body, spirit for using the sound bowls and
Hmm.
sound baths. And I'm gonna actually partake and walk through that garden, that healing garden, she calls it, on Saturday. Because I thought about too what she said. She said, I want you guys for lunch time. I want you guys to get with your 6-year-old self. I want you to take time to walk outside with your shoes off. And right where we were at was lunch. We was at this country club, but it was a little a beach out there, a little sand, wherever. And I actually did that lunchtime, and I felt so good. But
Hmm.
I was like, oh my God, I've been wanting to learn how to do this stuff because we don't know, what's going to happen. We don't know. And I think now we need to be prepared. So those type of things we need
Hmm.
to, again, and she does say it's her that's what her for her
Yep.
stress relief. And she
Yep.
said that. She
Yep.
said that that's like her breakaway camp for her stress relief. And she said anybody can come there if you want to feel like you want to sit down and cry, cry. Um,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do when I go Saturday. I'm gonna take a picture and send it to you.
Please do. I was going to say maybe do a little recording for everyone else to experience a
Yes,
little bit of that. And
yes,
as you're talking, I'm being led to share that it doesn't matter, even if you live in the city in an apartment, you can get small spaces. My husband did a garden for a couple of years, probably about 4 years ago, like before the pandemic. We had, herbs, basil. Oh, the basil was to die for. The tomatoes, the cucumbers. You can the greens. We was having salad every day. You fresh. You hear me? Fresh salad.
Right, right.
But it's you can do it in a I think it's called like a city picker or a city pot or something like that, and it has wheels and you can roll it and it's a small so as you're listening to this, no matter where you are, what your situation is, you don't have to have a huge yard and a bunch of
Mhm.
grass. You can create a makeshift situation to grow your goods. You absolutely can do that.
And you know what was funny? She was like, "What do I need to fertilize?" And she said, "Because her grandmother always told her, you go get yourself some fresh horse manure." And she actually said, you dry it out. It has some types of nutrients. And I mean, she showed the whole 9 yard. When I talk about this garden, is beautiful. And nine
Mhm.
times out of 10, it didn't cost her much of anything, because even with the pallets, she done built fences and
Mhm.
stuff around that. She didn't use bamboo to do the poles and stuff. When I say this chick is she's bad. She's bad.
Mhm.
She's bad. But I just think that's something. Gardening, yes. When you're talking about the gardening and nature and getting into that again. And I used to think it was silly when people used to say, talk to your plants. No, it actually works.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
actually works. It's that
Mhm.
sound. It's that vibrational sound from your
Yep.
voice, that's taking it. So, audience, let me tell you, next, my guest is going to talk about a product of hers, but
Mhm.
also with this product that she has, she's going to explain it in the elements. So, my dear guest,
Okay.
feel free. It's your time.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'll do my best to kind of show everybody. Let me put this crystal down because it's heavy. So I have a tray here, right? And on this tray, I have the element of water and also the element of earth, right? And so what we do is we pour libations and we give thanks to our ancestors. When before I get ready to sit into a meditation, this is how I cultivate my environment, right? For me to really get focused and hone in on what's happening within me. And so as I pour libations, I'll just, I'll call out their names either silently or aloud just to give thanks because without them, I wouldn't be here. Right. And that alone helps me to realize that I have so much to be grateful for. So much to be grateful for. Another element, which is also earth, is this crystal, black tourmaline, that is for protection and grounding, that I keep nearby. Incense is the element of air, right? Allowing spirit to just be represented in this space, right? And it reminds me that every breath that I take, my chi, my energy is through my breath. So when I do my deep breathing, when I focus on my breath, that is where I am able to really truly live in the moment. And the last element being fire is a candle. And this is my first candle off of my candle line, my spiritual candle line. It is the white candle, which represents clearing energy, magnifying. It is blessed, it is charged, it has all of the elements inside of the candle. So the essential oils in the candle are all spirit led for the purpose of cleansing and clearing whatever you need to release, as well as a seashell for the water. The oils also represent air because once you light it, you'll smell them. A piece of sage, right, which is also an element of earth. Crystals, which are the element of earth, and the oils also represent water along with the shell because it's liquid. So we have earth, we have air, fire once you light it, earth, air, fire, and water. So what I'll do is I'll light the candle because I like to set the mood as I go in. this here. And then I will put on music because those frequencies, those vibrations, right? Like I like to do it all. So I don't know if you noticed that the lighting changed. I turned off my overhead light, I turned on the lamp. I needed to have some lighting, otherwise, I would turn that off and just have the candle, right? The music as well. And so, can you hear this clear?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, what I'm going to do now is just walk everybody through um, muscle tension relaxation. So, when we talk about being stressed, everything that we feel, we experience in the body, right? Oftentimes, our body will become very tense in areas that we're aware of, as well as areas that we are not aware of. And so, doing this progressive muscle relaxation exercise will allow you to go through your entire body, just noticing what's tense so you can loosen it up where you know and where you don't know, and those areas that just need some love and attention anyway. Okay, so I'll ask you to get comfortable. If you are driving, please do not attempt this exercise. Allow yourself to get comfortable where you sit or where you're lying down. If you feel comfortable, please close your eyes or just lower your gaze. And slow inhale, we're going to do box breathing. In for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold another 4. And try to breathe from your diaphragm, from your belly area, and less from your chest. Okay, so it'll look like this. I'll hold my hand over my belly so you can see. Let me see if I, okay, it'll look like this, and I'll count. Hold and release. Inhale again. And release. It's important to try to breathe from your diaphragm, from your belly, because it touches what's called a polyvagal, aka the vagus nerve, which sends a message to your brain that all is well, it's okay, you're safe, and it calms down the production of hormones that keep you in that fight or flight or in that stressed out feeling. Okay. So just get into the rhythm of that box breathing, 4, 4, 4, and 4. Notice that there's a red cord going from your tailbone, from your root chakra, all the way down into the ground. And it's wrapping with the roots of the trees. And with every breath, those roots and that cord get wider and wider, creating a circular base underneath you. That circular base allows you to feel more secure right where you sit or where you lay. On the inhale, that energy is coming up through the cord, through your feet, through your legs, allowing the bottom half of your body to feel really grounded, really secure where you sit. Now I want you to bring your attention to the top of your head and bring in this golden light from your crown, from up above. As above, so below. Bring that light down into your crown, into your face. This warm golden light into your shoulders, into your torso, all the way down, meeting with the red light. Knowing that in this moment, you are grounded with Mother Earth and you are divinely connected from the spirit world. I want you to bring your attention to your eyebrows and just notice if they're furried, if there's a wrinkle there. Notice if your jaws are tight, if you're clenching. I want you to scrunch your face up like you smell something and hold it for 3 seconds and then release. So it looks like this. And again. Bring your attention down to your shoulders and just notice if they're already relaxed, if they're somewhat raised, how your posture is. Just notice. And now I want you to take your shoulders and bring them up to your ears, like so. And release. And again, bring your shoulders up to your ears and hold it. And release. And roll your shoulders back. Now I want you to take your attention to your arms. Do they feel tight? Do they feel heavy? So I want you to make a muscle. Hold. And release. Make a muscle again and hold. And release. Bringing your attention down to your hands. I want you to make a fist and hold and release. And make another fist and release. And wiggle your fingers and shake it out. Now I want you to take your attention to your belly, to your abdomen, your stomach muscles. And I want you to hold them tight. Hold it, squeeze. And release. Ready? Breathe in and hold. And release. And just take a breath. And so now I want you to take your attention to your buttocks, to your cheeks, your gluteus maximus. I want you to tighten those muscles and hold. And release. Tighten up again. And release. And bring your attention down to your legs. And I want you to contract your muscles in your thighs if you feel the need to squeeze your legs together, or just kind of pull up and engage those muscles. And hold. And release. And pull up again. And release. Taking your attention down your legs, all the way to your feet. And I want you to ball your toes up and engage your feet. And hold it. Ball your toes up. And release. And ball your toes up again. And release. And shake it out. So now I just want you to give everything a good shake. Your fingers, your toes, legs, a good roll of your shoulders. I want you to inhale, and I want you to let it out with a sigh, just like that. Release. This time on the inhale, be intentional about anything that you loosened up, knowing that it's there. Gather it up on the inhale, and when we blow it out, we're going to blow it out with the intention to release it from our body. Ready? Inhale. And release. How are you feeling?
Feeling good because look, I was like, I gotta watch. I'm gonna have to have my own session. But hey, listen, audience, that there was an experience. So this is something, a technique that you can call her up for. I'm telling you, that it's just sitting in that silence, that place, and just using to get you into a place of solitude. And you're right. And I love the way that you did the example of, it's a difference from when you go to the doctor, he'll tell you to breathe in and breathe out. But people are quick to go, let it out. You have to do a pursed lips. And I love the way that you showed that mechanism on how to do a real core of breathing, because it does make a difference. So,
Thank you.
Sandy, oh my God, we almost over with the show. Oh my goodness.
Wow, that went so fast. It went so fast.
So tell the audience, I've put your email, your website up where people can reach out to you. Now, is there any type of workshops that's coming up? Because I know that you have a couple of things that's coming up,
Yes.
and I'm looking forward to hearing all about them.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So, actually, this Sunday we are having our Sacred Sunday. My queen sister, mentor, colleague, she is actually going to be in New Jersey, so we're going to do it in my office. There's limited spots, but it's always on Zoom. So, I'll be posting that on our Instagram. Please reach out to me via website or email. We'll be hosting Sacred Sunday. It'll be about 3 hours. It's normally two, but there's going to be quite a bit of sound healing because we'll have some people in person this time. We also have our retreat, which is coming June 1st through the 4th. It is in the Poconos. And so with that comes a 4-week workshop. And so the focus of this retreat is going to be awakening the heart, which means that the 4-week workshop is going to be all heart centered work. And then we're going to continue that on to the retreat. So even if you can't attend the retreat, you can attend the workshop. So reach out to us for details on that. So the workshop will start May 8th, which is a Monday, for the next four consecutive weeks. That will start from 7 p.m. to 8:30 ish, because when spirit moves, you kind of go where the spirit takes you. So we
Right.
might end at 8:45, 9 o'clock. But so we have the workshop, we have the retreat coming up, we have Sacred Sunday, and we have the launch of my candle line, as well as the workbook that is coming out. All of that will be up and officially running, ideally by Mother's Day. That's my gift to myself outside of my 3 babies. So hoping to have everything ready to go by then. So we'll also advertise for pre-sales for those that are excited to get it. We can get you guys it lined up first. So that's
I will
everything.
be in line waiting. Be in
Thank you
line
so
waiting.
much. Yeah.
So again, audience, here is the website where you can hear all about my guest here, Sandi. Here, she is wonderful. She's amazing, and I just love the fact how we connected. You hear every time when you hear a guest, you'll say how we connected. It's always a divine connection. So she's licensed. She's
Yeah.
clinical.
Yeah.
I didn't want to bring no one who didn't really know what they were talking about, but you got an example of what she offered tonight. And we're looking forward to working together in
Yes.
the in the coming in the coming of this year. I speak that into the existence. I
Come
speak
on
that
now.
into the existence. The
Yes.
coming of this year. So we're speaking of that's the work together on a couple of projects because we both are in this long run to see people healed, and that's what the most
Absolutely.
important thing is. So, audience, I am in awe of what just have taken place, and I hope you guys are being awe. And Sandy, you didn't see, but I tell you what, somebody tried to interfere in this stuff, not letting it went out. But I trust you. Stay on. If you got to catch the replay, it might was a quiet time for you just to gather into it. So hopefully you will get something out of this and reach out to her or myself. I will announce too, beginning in May, I'm having a 4 week session classes, 1 hour a week on Thursdays, which will begin May 4th, the 11th, the 18th, and the 25th, talking about mindfulness. So practicing mindfulness. So I want you'll this includes it'll be $50, and it'll include you getting a calm journal that you'll be able to practice with your mindfulness. You will get a workbook, and at the end, you will get a t-shirt that says, "I am overjoyed in mindfulness."
Mm. Oh, that sounds lovely. Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
that'll be something coming out in a couple weeks. So I actually will. As a matter of fact, Sandy, what I'll do for thanking you for coming on, I'll send you one of those shirts.
Thank you. I look forward to wearing it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
most
Absolutely.
definitely.
I'm a
Yeah.
walking billboard for it all. I have t-shirts coming out with my journal that says hashtag hugs heal. So I look forward to
Okay.
that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please let me know. I'm a big girl
Yeah.
size here, but yeah, let me know. I
Got you,
support.
queen.
I support. I support. Loving it. Loving it. Loving it. So yeah.
Thank you so much.
So
Absolutely.
I do. So audience, like we say every week, she just told you about healing. Go hug someone. You never know. They might need it. You never know that stress, that pressure, whatever they have. Go hug someone. Go tell somebody that you love them. I always end the weekly show with telling that if no one has told you that you love, just know that you are loved here at the upfront mind, body, and soul. Until next week, we
Mhm.
shall see you again. Love you, sis, and all have a blessed and prosperous week.